Hey, welcome everybody to this episode of When Technology Goes Down, 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 Down. Well, we have been talking about a lot about how AI can really screw us over in life, how the machines can come and, just take over and murder us. We've talked about not depending a lot on technology because obviously there's a lot of issues that comes through that. Well, now we kind of get a basis of that. Welcome everybody. We are talking today about Leave the World Behind. Man, this one was a great thriller. Leaves you really discussing what's going to happen at the end, which I kind of like because it allows you to give a good analysis of how dependent are we really now that technology has progressed so much, and how like, and I don't mean to say it in a bad way, but how disabled we are without it, right? Like how useless we can be. Obviously, most of us or a lot of us know some resources. I go camping, so I'm an Eagle Scout. Obviously, not one of the best, but I know a couple things here or there to survive. But it comes to mind, like, can we survive if we if like all technology were to shut down? Obviously this podcast will not survive because where would I post it if technology's gone? Right. But anyway, before I get into let's hit that theme song and let's discuss Leave the World Behind.
If you are prone to scary easily, avoiding all the scary horror movies, you'll never watch but are intrigued to. Geo and Alex watch and review, so you don't have to. So you don't have to.
All right. So we got this basis Netflix movie that came out obviously at the end of 2023. There is a lot of good movies coming out in 2024, but I am just kind of playing catch up with season 3, and I'm going to provide you a lot of shows that I have, a lot of shows, movies that I have watched. But this one honestly was a great way to end. It kind of felt like this movie was made for anybody who was, was born prior to 2000, and the whole discussion, the fear that came into the year of 1999 and Y2K. So for all you youngins, if any of you who don't know what Y2K is, when we were growing up in the 90s, and for everybody who was, a lot older than I was, because I was born 91, so obviously in 99 I was 8 years old. But I remember the whole discussion that when the new millennium was going to start, when the year 2000 was going to start, everything was going to crash. All the technology that had already been built was going to just break down. We were going to have like somehow the nuclear missiles were going to be launched without any warning, and it was just gonna be a whole chaotic thing. So this whole fear like struck into a lot of people. Obviously, I was 8 years old. All I remember is how a lot of people discussed what could happen in the year 2000. Shoot, we even got songs like Party Like It's 1999, because everybody was just thinking it was going to be the end of the world, right? And obviously, we didn't know what was going to happen. I think most of us didn't believe, or I think a lot of people didn't believe we were going to make it to the year 2000. Well, New Year's came, nothing happened, right? Obviously. And so now we're in 2024, and this movie makes us realize one thing. And obviously, it's based off of a book. So whoever the author is of the book kind of gives you a glimpse, really, of what would happen in reality if all of the technology we were based off or kind of died, or if we were being attacked. So the basis of this is we have Sandra Bullock, not Sandra Bullock. I apologize. That is not Sandra Bullock. I always get her confused. But Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke, right? And of course their kids. They decide to go on a trip. And while they're on this trip, they realize that the internet goes out. So and not just the internet, everything like I think it was internet, electricity, everything's out. So bases basically power, right, goes out, and they obviously get encountered by hopefully the guy who plays Blade, but Mahershala Ali and his daughter, who obviously they are the ones who own the vacation home, and with all this chaos, they decide to go back there. And a lot of the times, Julia Roberts' character, she did not trust them. And I 100% would agree with her because, one, everything goes down. You don't know what's going on. And then somehow the owner of the house, which you can't verify anymore because, again, power's gone, internet's gone, all connectivity is gone, is there stating that they are the owner and this is their house. So, and she has her kids. So the protective mother, as well as the father trying to keep the peace. So there's a lot of things in there. But I love that each section of the movie kind of gives us the basis of what the book was talking about. Like if we were to get attacked and someone were to take out all our sense of communications, all our electronics, the first thing would be obviously the power grid, right? You would destroy the power grid, and that's what it talks about. So step one of them being there, the power grid goes off, which then causes the internet to go off, all the navigations, everything just tends to just die. Second, of course, is provide misinformation. So with all this happening, Ethan Hawke's trying to figure out what to do. He's trying to get to the city, and he can't get to the little town that they're in because he doesn't know how to navigate there. He obviously navigation's off, so he ends up just trying to figure out what's going on. And then he has like an interaction with a lady who only speaks Spanish, and obviously I understood what she was saying, que me dio tanto pesar, right, dejarla. But again, in these types of moments, you don't know who to trust. You don't know if she was going to do something random, and so you get this opportunity, like this situation where she's saying, "Take me home, llévame a la casa, yo no sé dónde estoy, ayúdame." And he didn't understand what she was saying, but he didn't want to risk it as well. And so he just kind of drives away and ends up going back to where they were. And he has to tell them, like, hey, I got lost. Like, I didn't know where I was, right? But in the midst of all that, some papers fly. And he picks up those papers, and they look Arabic, right? And so they're, sitting there with Ali, her daughter, trying to figure out what is going on. And then they end up finding, there's Kevin Bacon in this who is someone who's like he's one of those, like, what do they call them, like preppers? The people who like store a lot. They're prepared for a nuclear, and I'm not sure I'm saying right, nuclear. Anyway, he's ready for some big attack. So he's got a bunker. He's all ready. So they decide to go to his place to figure out, like, maybe he's got information or something like that. And as they're talking, right, and trying to figure things out, they end up finding out that the level 2 where it kind of caught like misinformation was that they said that they got the folder saying that it was in Arabic, and he said that he got a notice from a friend of his in the West Coast that it was in what was it? I think like French or Brazilian or a different language, right? So now you see that you get the confusion of who's attacking who, right? You don't know whom, so you're trying to figure out what, and then at the end, you just kind of get left in a hanger, right? Because they're over there trying to figure out what's going on. You got Julia Roberts and the daughter watching New York get bombed, and they're just kind of like, what the heck is this? And then they, oh no, not daughter, the son, they realize the daughter has kind of disappeared. And so now they're frantically trying to figure out where she is. You know, we have Ethan Hawke and Ali trying to get back to where they are. And then you see the daughter walk into like this nice mansion that's kind of near where they were. Found out that they have a small little bunker, and in the bunker they have DVDs. And the whole premise of the daughter is that she loves Friends, and she was watching Friends obviously because she could stream it. With internet gone, she could no longer stream it, so she was never able to finish the season. Um, and so she gets to a point that she finds in that bunker the Friends seasons, all of the seasons. And so she's super happy, puts on the final season, season 8, and the final chapter. And that's the end of it, right? That's where we leave off. And I know a lot of people, I'm not sure, I haven't read a lot of the reviews of this. I liked it because it left me thinking, like, are they going to find the girl? Like, is there ever going to be a moment where they're going to find the girl? Or is everything going to get back to normal? Who's really attacking them? And I liked it because this type of horror or thriller leaves you wondering, like, this actually could happen. And we would be basically stuck trying to figure out what's real, what's not, how to protect your family, what the heck is going on. And so it leaves you with the awe, like, oh my gosh. So, in all honesty, for anybody who hates horror films, I would suggest to watch this one because it doesn't have any of the horror tasks like monsters, demons, spirits, jump scares, possessions, or anything like that. It just leaves you in a essence of, figuring out how you would actually survive. I think it would be really good to watch it and to think what you can do to prepare for it. One of the things that actually, and I forgot to mention it, but there was a moment in time when they were trying to get back to the city or get back to one of their like closest relatives to figure out what's going on, and they end up finding out that the whole city, like the bridge and every like the road that they're driving on, is blocked by crashed cars. And as they get out, they're looking in. Julia Roberts goes in and tries to figure out what is going on. Why are these cars all crashed? Maybe people left them. She realized that there was never a driver in the cars. That all the cars that were crashing were Teslas from the lot. So basically, someone hacked the system, right? Hacking their system, got them to then crash so that no one could go in the building or can go in the city or out New York City, right? And then obviously they were, lucky not to go because later on it does get bombed. But now you see the premise that honestly, it's great to depend on technology, and it's great that we have been able to progress with technology and get all these wonderful senses of media and things like that we can enjoy. But put in perspective, if it were to die, if it were to stop, if internet were ceased, if we were really under attack, would we as a nation be ready to come together and fight whatever's out there? And or would this be something the government's doing? And I don't mean to get super like, what do you call those? What are those theories? Oh my gosh. I know if you're listening to this, you're like yelling at me. A conspiracy. Thank you, anybody out there who gave me the word. But yes, conspiracy theory. I don't mean to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but we know the government's has their hands dirty, and I wouldn't be surprised if that they try to do something like this to control us. to then be able to say, oh, we have the power, but give it all to us and blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't be surprised. So we would be in a spot to try to figure out what's going on. And that's why I like this movie. This one was really good to keep you in mind. And like I said, it was the end of 2023, but I think it was a good kicker for 2024 to realize that not only can we have fear of unknown, the fear of things that we can't see, right? Like, again, like I said, like entities, spirits, monsters that end up coming up later, but we can have fear of the unknown. And this is what it leaves you. And so if you want to see it, it is on Netflix. So I highly recommend it. Other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and enjoy a spooky week.
If you are prone to scare easily, avoiding all the scary horror movies, you'll never watch but are intrigued to. Geo and Alex watch and review.